Voltron easy mover. Yeah. So this is gonna be the ships of Chimera. I want to be able to see what I'm doing. Hello, Trekant. Yeah. It's Kal Katster, and I know it's not really Trek Yards, but it totally should be. Okay, here I have a box containing balsa ships. Now, I have an uncle in Duluth named Bill Galinsky who makes wonderful model ships. I think they're still in the Duluth Museum. See them there. They're barges and towboats and all kinds of ships. Little model ships that look really photorealistic, lake ships, lake boats. And I learned some of that craft. Not directly from him, though, from studying balsa devices in order to make models for the Star Trek thingy. And I'm going to show you some of these models come from the Chimera movie, from Starship Chimera, because they're in the background, and the Chimera itself is not featured very much. But yeah, I decided to show them off. I haven't drawn up all the details and specs for each ship, so this is sort of an overview, because I will do that later. Yeah, done that later. I'm going to place them over here in terms of where they appeared. Some of them were rebuilt. Some of them were scratch built. Yeah, so I'm going to start with the unnamed ones here. And go over here. This is the Cillian ship Jacques. It's actually one of the plastic models. It's a runabout Jacques from the later Cillian books, and predominantly in the latest one, which is in production. Here we have the Titan. Not the Luna class Titan, but the Titan. Titan A. And here we have the no, this is the Enterprise F. My version of the Enterprise F. Alright, so let's have a look at these. Here, starting with these two, I think. Yeah. These two are set in the script to be, we'll look at them in a minute. These two are said in the script to be the Trekker and one other ship. So the Balboa, maybe? Trekker and the Balboa. I think the beefy one is the Balboa here, and this is the Trekker. Yeah, so we have Balboa and the Trekker. Rather interesting looking. These are overviews. I'm just going to... these were featured in the unaired, and I can't air because there's music in it. Planet Calm, the movie, which was a joke movie made of the original Distant Destinies, now called Canary Space because of copyright title issues. The Canary Space, the Adam Brown series. I'm him, obviously. Brown, obviously. Yeah, and so Kal Kat is brown, but they're confused. It had nothing to do with Destiny, the game, but it was confusing, so it was changed to Canary Space. These ships were featured in that play. So they were, I added nacelles to them and beefed up the saucer sections and included them as starships in the background. And yeah. And the Trekker is one of the earliest Cillian ships, so of course I had to have a model of it. And you can see they are an earlier version of the other ones. They're more primitive in design. So, an overview here. This is an early version of the Chimera. This is, I'm going to show you in a minute, but this is the early version of it. And a little more sleeker, a little more bird-like. It's the early Chimera. It's not the movie version. It's an earlier version. It's a sort of a, like they build a test model to see what we're going to go with. This is the 2011 version of the ship. These are 2007. Here we have This is literally a kit batch of several models that had fallen and broken. This is the junk ship from Chimera. It was an Enterprise model. It's a junk ship, so it's got all the pieces stuck all over it. It's a Cardassian junk ship. See, at this point in 2388, the Cardassians and the Federation kind of switched up colors, used them. They were sort of semi-allied. So they, yeah. Interesting idea. That's in the movie. Like a second, I think. Here is, I believe that this is the Enterprise F from 2016. That's what this is. My version of the Enterprise F. I think this is an Enterprise F. Yeah, it's here as a 2016. All right, so yeah, this is okay. The fan film Excalibur, which took place in the TOS era, and we were part of that fan film before Chimera. I was going to be a script person. I was going to write an episode. I was going to be in it. I was going to have a cameo. That ended up falling apart, so I ended up not having a script or a cameo. Elements of that script are appearing in the current Cillian story that's in production. So. Anyway, so yeah, which I changed to Discotheque and put it in the Discovery universe. So makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, it was Discovery and Picard. Well, Picard's something else. This is the Titan A. Presumably, at some point before 2388, the Luna-class Titan was destroyed because we can't pay the guy royalties, and I built this guy to replace it. Because Riker wanted a bigger ship, and it's bigger, the Titan. Very Excelsior-like, Excalibur class, sort of an update of the Excelsior. A little tall and choppy, kind of, but still sleek. You know, if you did this with a 3D printer and made it 3D, that would look freaking cool. But yeah, you know, fix it up to the Titan A. 102A, the Titan A. Movie, fan film, here's the hero ship. And the Titan was also the hero ship. And there were some other AMT models and ships and stuff. We want to see the ones that I actually built. Right? This is the hero ship. It's been rebuilt 3 times. The 2018 version is the one in the movie. It had the main deck and nacelles rebuilt from 2016 to 2018. It had these relined up again because they were damaged in storage, and I rescued them out of storage before they got damaged again. Recently. This is the Chimera, USS Chimera. NCC A2405. And what's really cool is the guy that did Star Trek Picard and the artist preaching, or one of those other guys. There is an homage to one of my Chimera ships in battle. It's not the Chimera, it's this guy. Looks a little bit like something from, yeah, it's this guy. He's in there. The saucer's a little different because they changed it in this guy's. They said, which one isn't exactly one that you used in your fan film? Well, this one. I didn't use this one. Barely in it. Okay. Very sort of the swoop down the cells look. This thing is from 2007. So it is in there. It'd be really cool to have, when they come out with that 3D model of their version, I want that. Oh yeah, it'd be awesome. Well, let's see what we have here. Actually, this vaguely looks a little bit like the ship, the Riker ship. Just this part here, this little bit too big. But if these were shorter, it would look like the Riker ship. The Odyssey class. What was it? Senghi? Yeah. It's not, but it looks a little like. So yeah, Chimera ships. Okay, let's get a closer look at some. Here we have the earlier Chimera. right, the earlier one from 2011. We have the design aesthetic is representative Gene and Justman and a little bit of some of those other guys. It's got an Enterprise E vibe to it. I can't recall those guys' names right off the bat, but I should know that. There's some of their aesthetic going on here. I made these plastic models to represent Star Trek ships. It follows the line of sight thing, the nacelle thing. It's got these little like pontoon pods on the bottom. It's probably a little smaller than the Enterprise from the classic era. It's the bottom. I'm sure they'll do more in depth on that later. I just wanted to show it off. That's a ship that was not in the movie. Okay, here's the that other one. That looks a little bit like something from Star Trek Picard, because it is. Yes, it isn't directly, but it is. Let's see. So we have. This was in the fleet battle. Well, not this model, but someone else's very close imitation was in Star Trek Picard. I was not in Star Trek Picard. This model, like, is like during the fleet thing, they zoom in on the ships, and there's this guy, and he's just also in the fleet yards in the Utopia Policia fleet yard attack. Like that guy right there looks familiar. Looks real familiar from the back. Yeah. Yeah. So underneath you have pontoon, very sleek ride to it. So going over the bottoms, kind of cool. There's a deflector dish, like looks like a face kind of. That's kind of cute. Yeah. So they like that. Let's see what we have. Here is the Enterprise F. Well, not really. We'll see if that, yeah. Since they already included the Star Trek Online ships in the thing, this is the Enterprise F, but it's not labeled. This is a version of it. This is also called this was also referred to as the Megaverse class Chimera or the Megaverse. Also the Mary Sue. This is the Mary Sue. There was a line of ships from the earlier drafts of this, and this is one of those. She's been repainted as the Enterprise F. It isn't really. It's its own thing. It's a Chimera. One of the Chimeras. The earlier ones. It has a lot more detail, but that's because it's chunkier and, yeah, a lot of other stuff. I think in the middle of this is some basswood. Balsa on the outside, basswood in the middle. It's mostly glued together. Give it a little heft. It's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah, so my take on the Enterprise F is also, you can see that one, there's something very similar to this on Discovery. It's one of them. And that is available. I should get that one too. It's very similar. Especially if you look at it from this angle. Yay! Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Sure. I mean, the Star Trek line of sight thing is clearly something going on there. Yeah. So then we come to the other. This is more of a Discovery looking ship, actually. It's more of that aesthetic. It's got the long nacelles. It'd be cool to make a Discovery, but I would do it differently. This is looks like something in that fleet. It also has an Enterprise vibe to it. Balsa saucer. This is actually carved circular and sanded, and then two pieces stuck together. Stuck together pieces. This might have been a full on. Yeah, that may have been a full piece, like stuck together this way instead. Yeah, so it's a Enterprise E kind of thing. Enterprise E vibe to it with a little bit of other stuff. But yeah, before Discovery, these two, this guy and this guy, are 2007 ships. So they were redesigned in 2010, 2011. They're earlier. And yeah, some of the ship designs did kind of migrate over to the new show, even though I don't think there's any way of proving that, other than yeah, fan ship, yeah, fan design, sure, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I can go over. I'm just overviewing. Here's back to the Titan A, which also resembles something from, especially this pontoon thing, especially prominent in Discovery and Picard. This, I mean, if you look at it from sort of this angle, it's definitely got that Star Trek Online vibe to it. Definitely from that angle. So I was never thinking of that. Oh, man. The nacelles are nicely proportioned, but a little tall. This is the heaviest one because it's got a large piece of basswood in the middle. Yeah, and it's the Excelsior size, roughly. They're all about 18 inches, but I've made them all so they'd all fit in the box. But technically, to scale, thinking like this smaller Chimera would actually be more like this, because this is roughly the length of the original Enterprise, the classic 1701. So this would be like this. To scale, it'd be about two-thirds, about a third bigger, basically. It's about a third bigger to scale with that one. So even though the Chimera here and the Titan, that's the Chimera I was looking at. Okay, I was wrong on that one. Actually, this one, that was a Chimera. So, wrong ship. Hey, let's leave it in. Wrong ship. This is the Chimera. And it is a third bigger than the other one. It's a little bit bigger, so it's halfway between the Enterprise and the other one. And then the Titan is a little bigger than that. So yeah, they're all, okay, there we go. The evolution of the Chimera there. And then the Titan A with the pontoons. Okay, the Titan A, that's the Chimera. Yeah, so they're in the same family. They clearly look like, you can see the ship evolution kind of with these guys. And how they kind of went on to that from sort of more like this with the little robin's egg blue to the lesser sort of the smaller one there. Yeah. You can see how the evolution went along there. And that this guy is somewhere in between there. He's probably right about here. This guy's probably here. Yeah, so. Dun, 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 dun. The balsa ships. There they are. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. They all have a design aesthetic of the 2380s. Yeah, so. Neat. Yeah, so. Yeah, let's see what. This is the Jacques, of course. Jacques. That's recent. 2018. Late 2017, early 2018. Jacques. See the butt. Jacques. This is from the stories. Stories. Even though this is a plastic runabout, Eaves Ace 9 runabout model. It's been modified to fit with the Chimera coloring and all that. It's the Jacques, after the street that stories used to live on. And the street number. Jacques Street. It's probably pronounced Jacques. Yes, if it's Spanish, it's Jacques. If it's French, Jacques. The Jacques Street. It's probably Jacques. So yeah. Spanish word. I painted this, but I put it together. It was its original runabout from AMT. Probably shouldn't have opened it and put it together, but I wanted it in the movie. And have the runabout have a cameo because it needed a shuttle scene. It's really cool. So yeah, and that was the one of the donations to the show for Brian Story's cameo in the film. Yeah, instead of us paying him or something, because we couldn't pay him because we couldn't do that, things like this would appear. And we tend to like, oh, okay, trade something for free, and that would be yeah. So this was yeah. He should have that. I mean, so what did he get from me? Let's see. What did he get? Got something. Star Trek maybe. But yeah, it was free. So yeah, his brother-in-law was putting together the Excalibur series. They did a pilot, and well, not a pilot, but a preview, 8-minute preview. That's online, but then nothing else. They have started at the same time we did. Mark's Cards and I started, and they're finished. Mine's finished. It's a fan film with action figures. The latest fan film we're doing is a Transformer one, Corrosion War Without End, based on a long script as a miniseries by someone else, Rob Powers, who we don't know. But this here is an overview of the Chimera ships. At long last, you get to see the overview. We will explore each one individually later. But I just thought to show some of them off in a similar way to the 2011 ship overview. This is exactly like that. I just redid it because it looks better in HD. Yeah. So yeah. I haven't done any specifics on them, but I know that the Chimera itself is roughly the same length as the classic TOS and refit Enterprise. Probably the refit one, more or less, from a couple 200 and some meters. The Chimera is supposed to be 200 and some meters, and the Titan A is supposed to be considerably larger than that, and it is. But yeah, still a little bigger than that. But the model is just a little bigger. It's considerably bigger. I mean, the Chimera has 400 and some crewmen, 400 to 430. I think the Titan probably has like 800. It's much bigger. So yeah, twice the crew. Maybe 600 at the least. Then you got Major Banks. It's mainly a science vessel, the Chimera. It is a science vessel. And it's not featured in the movie that much. Yeah, but it has been. This is what it looked like in 2018 in the film. Yeah, there's the Chimera. That's what that number means on Chimera 82405. The character on Trek Core. Yeah, that's me. It's just Kal Kat. Some of them know that, and it annoys them. Yeah. But yeah, I liked what I did with this Excelsior model. Actually took some of the cues for this Excalibur class Titan A, some of the cues from the Trek Yards people, and I thought, like, okay, what did they like and not like about the Excelsior? What happens if I make an Excelsior like model, and I address that, and I say like, oh, I'm gonna make the this actually like fit that scale. I think if I redid it, and we'll redo it in 3D Blender or something someday, and then make it look actually like official, or maybe even do a new balsa one, it'll look better, you know. I would like to do that. I don't have the program or the computer to do that. But it would be cool to redo this, and if I did, I would make the nacelles not as tall and lanky, or at least if they're going to be as tall and lanky, I would make them more like thinner, I guess, a little bit. They're a little tall, yeah, and odd. It's kind of cool, though. And it would make not nearly as thick, I think. But yeah, it does address the bottom part being like a bowl. And it takes that out. It takes like a chunk out of the back. So it's like, oh, it's not a bowl anymore. It's actually, that's the neck of the ship is really, really strong. There's no way it can break through that. Very, very Discovery looking. Gene adjustment. What are the guys? Yeah, whoever the guy that did the Enterprise E. I'm blanking on it. Greg? No, it wasn't Gene, I don't think. It's the other guy. But yeah, the other guys. Yeah, I didn't contact them or anything. It's just back in the day. But yeah, then the Okudas, of course. But yeah, so yeah, the when they were on the Facebook thing all the time. I don't think they are anymore. The Chimera is a sleeker design. That close up you get to see the deck numbers in the balsa. The windows. You see the windows? Yes. So it's about what, maybe 4 decks to the top. Look at it. Like 4, 8 decks, maybe 8 decks high and 8 decks low. It's a bit 16 decks, roughly. A little smaller than the Enterprise, thinner. Versus dollar, it's probably like 24 decks. Yeah. Something like that. So yeah, that's my overview of the Star Trek ships. Yeah, just whipping out the ships and looking at them. Yeah, so it's going to go up on the Chimera website. Finally get to see some ships. Yeah, here's the junk ship. Close. Cardassian Federation Kit Bash. Garrick's ship. Did not get blown up. The model didn't. No, it was all CGI. There it is. Yeah, it was pieced together from a broken one. Early Enterprise F1. One of them in the nacelles appears to be falling off. These two do look like the ships from Discovery and Picard, but there's a reason for that. and online. Trek Online. Yep. I should go back to that, huh? I should do season 2. Cool. I will. They can call me. It'd be awesome. Yeah, so, cool. More likely fan films. So there's some ships. The Jacques. Just the bottom of the Jacques. Really detailed. Brian Story liked the pictures from that. He's like, oh my goodness, that's just really clever. Yeah, why weren't you in the art department on Next Generation? I probably should have been. I managed to do this with like poster paints. That's pretty slick. Some of these are poster paints and car paints. So you get your basic colors from the poster paint. It's because it's balsa, you cover it. There's a little bit of plastic, but very little. It'd be so cool to redo these with somebody that actually knows what they're doing about 3D, though. Wouldn't that be awesome? I did make some model designs for them too. I drew up like 2-dimensional stuff. But anyway, the ships. So, yes, 2 of my ships do look like, it is not a coincidence, they look like some of the Trek Online ships. They look like some of the Picard ships. So that has been a very brief overview of the Star Trek ships in the Chimera ship thingy. Yeah, I was not on TNG or Deep Space Nine doing design for the ship models, no. It was... But yeah, those 2 were really close to what they did. But that's awesome. I was probably thinking, and it probably is that the people that did that, thinking on the same lines, thinking the same thing. They were like, yeah, I want the nacelles underneath downswept. That's kind of cool. Do like the Reliant kind of thing, but like the saucer goes up instead. Yeah. Shinzao looking thing, upside down. Yeah, if you just turn the Shinzao upside down, it works. Yeah, it's not exactly the Shinzao though, but some of those. And later on, we'll have a thing, design thing on the new ship, which is being built in honor of DC Fontana, which I have not started building yet, but I'm going to design and then build. And the Emmett Tull. I'm also going to make the Emmett Tull. So. But we'll see about that later. That's much later, though. My version's going to be different. Ha ha ha. 4 nacelles. Ooh. Hope I can find balsa for that. Anyway, so yeah. So that's pretty much it so far. And it would also be cool to build Asilian ships, the Venturas, each Ventura, because they look a little different than the Star Trek Enterprise ships. It'd be cool to build those as well, the Ventura. They don't have to be really big. We'll see. Yeah.